Hey, hello, my friends. This is Sebastian, and I'm here to talk a little bit about why it is important this new model that we add to the library, the perfect sub. The perfect sub is something very simple and very impossible. This doesn't exist in reality. The perfect sub is a subwoofer whose frequency response is this. It's perfectly flat from 20 hertz all along for all the frequencies. Okay, that's the main characteristic of this sub, and that's not just in front of the sub. If I move my microphone around, I will see that the subwoofer is always perfectly flat. As you can see on the frequency response below, I can be near to the sub and I get high levels, but always flat, or I can go further from the sub and I get less level, but always flat. In other words, of course, no matter what frequency I choose, I will always get a perfect omnidirectional pattern. No matter if it's 200 hertz. See, always it's the same, always omnidirectional. So this kind of source doesn't exist in reality. This is impossible, right? But for educational purposes, it's unbelievably important. It's real useful for professors, for students, for people who wants to understand what's going on with the acoustical sound, with the cancellations and the sub arrays, etc. So let's see some examples about why this is useful. If I go, for example, for the generic sub, this is the sub that the application brings by default. We will see that the frequency response of this box is like that. It's a typical sub, right? With a roll off on the low frequencies and a roll off on the mids, right? Also, if we go to, oh, I forgot to mention, of course, that the polar pattern will be some kind of omnidirectional at very low frequencies, but at mid frequencies is very different. See, it's a lot more directional, like subs in reality. And you can see also that at 200 hertz it don't have much energy. Okay, that's obviously related with the frequency response, which falls on 200 hertz, right? Always remember that the frequency response is absolutely relative. I can touch and put it wherever I want. Okay, this is a relative scale. So, getting back to the models, here I'm going to choose, for example, real models. For example, the Danley TH118, and we will see that it has a more realistic frequency response. In fact, these are real frequency responses that I took from the manufacturers. Okay, like for example, here we have this, and if we choose for example, the DMB SL we will see that the frequency response, it's like this, with a very pronounced roll off on the mids, and a flat thing, which is not real for sure, but that is because the manufacturer gives information only from 31 hertz and more. So the problem with this real world subs models is that they could be misleading when students are trying to understand what's going on with the acoustical results with the acoustical summation. See, for example, this one, the Mayer 500, it has a dip right there in 63 hertz. It has an attenuation. So that's the problem for people trying to understand, trying to educate themselves, or for professors trying to explain what's going on. Okay, last example. Here we have the TH 118, and we have a cancellation, a big cancellation in 250 hertz. Well, that's not likely to be a useful frequency for a subwoofer, but anyway, if I wanted to learn, that could be misleading. That can play tricks on me. Okay, for example, all real subs will have a fall off to 20 hertz because none of them are able to really reproduce those super low frequencies. So how the student will know where is going on some interaction at those super low frequencies? How can I know that if the real models doesn't provide me with any energy? So this is for understanding, this is for educational. That's why we have the perfect sub. The perfect sub has the super big advantage that will let you focus only in the acoustical summation. I will turn on the subwoofer number 2 and will set also the perfect sub source. Now I'm going to start moving the sub number 2 around. First, I'm going to put the microphone a little bit more far from here, okay? And I will start moving the speaker, and I will understand things, because when I move this speaker, I will set the frequency response for a live for a real-time change while I move the speaker. Okay, so look at this. The two speakers are very near one to each other. It's what we would call a monocluster. That's the monocluster. So the frequency response is very good, almost a flat line, almost like if it was just one of them. But if I start moving the speaker, what will happen at the frequency response on the microphone number 1? Whoa, and that is our well-known comp filter. Very easy to see, very easy to understand, and to teach for anyone interested in this. For example, I'm going to put the microphone number 1 a little bit near to the couple of speakers, and now I will move the speaker number 2. See how we will get to see, of course, the COM filter as it appears more and more, while the separation between the sources, it gets different. See? Now I could ask you, why is that here the cancellations are so deep? If I put the peak here at 12, I have a dip that it gets to minus 12. That would be a 24 dB difference. But why, when I move this speaker here below, I have only a 6 dB difference? Why is that? I have more and more cancellations, right? But they are not so deep, so deep like the ones before. Okay, obviously, the response for this is because the speaker number 2, it's way more far away from the microphone. Instead of that, the speaker number 2 is near to the microphone, but the speaker number 2 is very far. If I get this example beyond, at the end of the day we will get that the COM filter gets not very important. It's like, whoa, now I have a difference like 1 dB cancellation. That's because we are very far from the microphone. Okay, so that's the idea here, to understand what's going on with the acoustical summation. You have to understand that what we are seeing here, when we use the perfect sub model for our experimentations, investigation, what you have to know is that this will happen to this will be happening to any model you have. Okay, no matter if I'm using this brand or this other brand, this real sub in real life, for example, I have 2 speakers in this situation, and I have that microphone location. I will get this horrible dip in 100 hertz, no matter what real world sub I am using. Okay, for example, let's remember we have a 100 dip, very deep. So I'm going to change the speaker brand for a real one. I will use the generic sub, which is based on a real sub, for the sub number 2 and the sub number 1, 2. So we have the generic sub, which is a real world subwoofer. And if I see the frequency response, there you go. We have that dip right on the area of the 100 hertz, right? Okay, let's try another one. DMB Y sub. So number 2, DMB Y sub. And what happens with the frequency response? Look at that. There you go. See? 100 hertz. Not lucky. Okay? So that's the importance of the perfect sub. With the perfect sub, you will learn and understand better what will happen to any subs, what will happen to them when they sum together. Okay, let's see a couple examples now based on the sub power relay. For example, here at 80 hertz I have this a couple of big dips. See? Okay. Now what if I change the model? I will change to a real sub like the TH118 from Dunley. Okay, there you go. I have two TH118. What it's going to happen at the end is the same. We have much power. Yeah, because it's a sub that is more powerful. I will capture this. And now I will go again with our perfect sub. And we'll check what happens at 80. There you go. Now, see the shape of the cancellation patterns, okay? When I go to my gallery, I see that and that. More power on one example, but the same exactly shape of cancellations. Okay, so that's it. I invite you to play with the perfect sub model. It can be real useful. You can build a cardio setup and see what happens, etc. I think it's a very good idea for educational purposes, for understanding. It's good to have a perfect source to understand what is going to happen to any subs, any real world subs. One time a friend of mine here at my city told me, I showed him the application and he said, oh, but you don't have this brand of subs, so it's useless to me. So when people tell you that, it's because they don't understand the nature of acoustical summation. At low frequencies, it's pretty straight, and you can replicate these results easily in real life, measure them, etc. That's it by today, friends. Thanks to Guille from France, who gave me the idea of putting the omnidirectional perfect sub on the library. Okay, see you. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.